Number 7, Norman.
Welcome to Swangard Stadium and Game 2 of this Mita Cup Championship. The CSL on TSN. Vic Rutter along with Graham Leggett. Vancouver 86ers in a must-win in regulation against the Winnipeg Fury. Community chorus from Richmond, British Columbia. We're all set. Game 2 of the CSL final. Vancouver and Winnipeg here on TSN. It's Game 2 of the CSL Mita Cup final from Swangard Stadium in Burnaby, British Columbia. And it is absolutely gorgeous, 11 degrees Celsius and crystal clear here in Burnaby. And the ceremonial kickoff by 85-year-old Mr. JOCK Davidson, who is a member of the 1927 Canadian national team. Mr. Davidson, as I say, 85 and can still kick them. The starting keeper for the Winnipeg Fury has helped turn this team around late in the season, Pat Onstad. And the starting 11 for Tom McManus and his Fury.
Well, he's going with a 3-5-2 again. Onstad in goal. The back three, Miller, Sarantopoulos and Fennick. The midfield 5, Wilson, Paolucci, Nochita, Dodd and Carter. And the two strikers, Corazine and Holness.
And starting in net, two all-star keepers in 92, Onstad at one end and at the other, Paul Dolan, the veteran member of Canada's national team, starts for the 86ers. And the starting 11 put on the field by Bob Lenarduzzi.
And Bob Lenarduzzi's got a more orthodox 4-3-3. Dolan in goal, Muirhead, Celebrini, MacDonald and Norman, the back four. The midfield 3, Valentine, Macy and Evans. And the front 3, Titoro, Catliff and Mitchell.
And the referee from Calgary is Mr. Mike Seifert. You know, and in talking to Tom McManus this morning, he expects, as everyone who comes into Swangard Stadium to play Vancouver, he expects the 86ers to come at him with a flurry.
Obviously, the first 10 minutes will be crucial for the Winnipeg Fury because the 86ers have a habit of going right at them from the start.
Remember now, it is a must-win in regulation for Vancouver to pick up the 3 points to force the 30-minute mini-game. Holness, surrounded by yellow shirts. Celebrini, this is Norman, down the left wing, and will play it into touch. Interesting that Tom McManus also says that he doesn't want to change Graham. He wants his team not to be the least bit defensive, to come at the 86ers, because that's when they're at their best, when they're counterattack. Paolucci slides it through. Oh, Ian Carter just stumbled as he seemed to have a step, and now Ivor Evans. And look at Paolucci. Paolucci trying to sneak through and couldn't. In his second season out of the University of Winnipeg, Marcelo Paolucci
loves to get involved. not afraid to come back, loves to go forward, and almost took advantage of a mistake by Ivor Evans there, the midfielder for the 86ers, trying to dribble it out of his own box, and Paolucci caught him in possession.
Onstad will bring the ball out once again. The pitch here at Swangard is in wonderful condition. Downfield looking for Corzine. The flick through. Nichita tries to sneak through. Here's Nichita. Can he get away? Dolan is out. Bats it away. And now Norm is there to pick up the loose ball and clear it. And totally the unexpected early here in the first half as the Fury are taking it to Vancouver.
Vancouver's defense looking at 6s and 7s. It's Carl Valentine, last man back, trying to flick it over his head. Nichita gets possession, but Dolan saves the day by coming off his line very quickly. But uncharacteristic mistakes being made by the Vancouver 86ers early on.
And it was interesting, Graham, there was Nichita coming from his midfield, the central midfield, up and forcing the play.
Well, Tony's got the scent of a goal. He scored a cracker in the first game, and once you get an appetite for it, it's tough not to go forward.
Oh, look at this. Valentine makes the run. Fennick is back to mark him. Valentine backs. Here's Catliff. Oh, finally cleared away. Mitchell, one time!
And that clenched fist set it all, and the coach of the Winnipeg Fury scratches his chin ruefully. What a fantastic goal as a poor clearance reaches Dale Mitchell. His volley catches Pat Onstad 3 yards off the line, and it nips in under the crossbar. Fantastic goal by the veteran striker, and it's just the start that the 86ers needed.
Dale Mitchell in the 3rd minute scores his first to the playoffs to give Vancouver the 1-0 lead. And it was the Fury who came in with the reputation of a counterattack, but it is the Vancouver 86ers who show it there. Now it's Catliff trying to turn upfield against Finnick, but a lovely sliding tackle to put the ball into touch. Oh, here they come again to Toto. As the Fury are suddenly back on their heels to Toto. Catliff. Macy, top of the box. So is Ivor Evans. Norman plays it through. Wilson for Winnipeg. Paolucci. Corazine. A little give and go with Paolucci. Now it's Holness in a one-on-one with Steve MacDonald. Holness, who scored in the 2-0 win a week ago in Winnipeg. Paolucci. Carter calling for it. Far side of the box. Lays it through near side. And out is Dolan. Well, the 86ers are a dominant team anytime, but when they score first, well, boy, they are almost unbeatable. 10-1-3 this season.
Well, that goal by Mitchell preserved a record. The Vancouver 86ers have never been shut out 2 in a row. And there was a danger of them being shut out tonight until the 3rd minute, and Mitchell preserved that record.
It was an absolutely gorgeous goal off his chest and the one-time volley. Over the goal line, corner kick, the first of the game to Toto as the sellout crowd here at Swangard get into it very quickly. To Toto. Far post. Over the head of MacDonald, who had moved up from his center back. Here's Carter. Corazine. Ivor Evans uses Mr. Seifert as the 3rd man, and it's played into touch.
Following that goal by Dale Mitchell and following every 86ers goal.
Again, a reminder, it's total points, not total goals. So a 1-0 win, 2-0 win, that would force the minigame. Cleared in quickly. Taken well by Onstad, who plays it downfield and offside, says Mr. Rob Brown, as Carlo Corazine had broken in behind Rick Celebrini.
Good move by Pat Onstad. Saw that Corazine was one-on-one on Celebrini. Knocked the ball long, but Corazine just moved a little too quickly.
MacDonald. Onstad is out. Punches it away from Catliffe. And punches it in touch to give away the throw-in. David Norman. Catliffe, edge of the box. Fennick to mark him. Norman to Toto. Cleared in. Oh my! Scott Macy out of his midfield spot. Came through, picked up the loose ball and just put it over the bar.
Beautiful play by Guido Di Toto. Tight on the line, swings it across. Scott Macy makes a near post run, but the challenge is just enough to make him hook it over the crossbar. Good run by Macy. Great little play by Guido Di Toto.
Paolucci. Controlled by Muirhead. A little scrambly at midfield before Guido Di Toto settles it down. Now it's Mitchell who scored the opening goal at 3 minutes. Macy makes the run. Sarantopoulos is there for Winnipeg. Macy. And another corner given away by the Winnipeg Fury.
And as we saw in the first leg of this Mita final, Guido Di Toto takes the in-swinger from the left-hand side.
Oh, Onstad over a charging Rick Celebrini.
Good goalkeeping. Made up his mind it was his ball. Should be when the ball's that high. But Guido Di Toto in the first game at a 60-mile-an-hour gale, he was swinging these corners in. That was more like a normal in-swinger that Pat Onstad plucked out of the air then.
Carter. Philip Wilson just gives it away. Muirhead down the right wing. Peter Sarantopoulos, the 24-year-old, in his 5th season, will give the throw in to his former Rocket teammate, Ian Carter. Ahead for Corazine, and once again a Fury throw in. Carter, along with Sarantopoulos, traded to the Fury, and those two, along with Pat Onstad, those three, that trio, in great part responsible for the dramatic turnaround of this Fury franchise late in the season. You know, a month and a half ago, they were dead last in the Canadian Soccer League, and then qualified for the playoffs and beat North York in the semifinals, and then won 2-0 in game 1 of this Mita Cup final. Paolucci as Norman wins the battle. Now it's Paolucci and Norman again to Toto. Mitchell calling for it. Catliffe is over. Macy wins the battle. Now it's Ivor Evans looking for the offside, and it is on the far side. Mr. Rene Para, the Fiji flash. Too much of a flash there by Ivor Evans.
And what a great play by Peter Sarantopoulos. Just took a step up as the ball was played. Ivor Evans offside. Good decision by Rene Para on the far touchline.
David Norman wins the ball from Holness. And right now it seems, Graham, that the Vancouver 86ers are just winning every ball. They're winning every challenge.
It's amazing what a goal in the 3rd minute can do for your confidence. They all want the ball right now.
Paolucci can't keep it in play. It'll be a throw-in for Vancouver. We've played just over 10 minutes of this first half. Dale Mitchell with a goal in 3 minutes. To give Vancouver a 1-0 lead. Boy, Paolucci didn't stand a chance before he could even get a foot to it. There was Ivor Evans. Fennick to midfield. Nachita. Wilson. Ahead for Corzine. Tried to flick it through for Holness, who was making a break. Celebrini. Norman for Vancouver over midfield. To Toto. Flicks it forward, looking for Catliff. You see Fennick playing it back for Onstad.
He had two thoughts about it. He remembered the new rule, thought, will I risk it? Well read. Peter Sarantopoulos reads the game as well as anybody playing in the CSL.
Ian Carter, the matchup with Dale Mitchell right behind him. Free kick awarded to Winnipeg. Paolucci, Nachita trying to set it up, has Carter now. Valentine. Philip Wilson for the far post. And the challenge by Dodd is called. The foul on Doug Muirhead. Super sub, they called him, as we always saw Doug Muirhead, the 30-year-old, coming off the bench. But this year, with their injuries, Graham, he started in 19 games.
And what an asset for Bobby Lenarduzzi. He can put Doug Muirhead on in any position, and Doug does a good job for him.
Catliff takes the ball away from Steve Miller. Ivor Evans now at the edge of the box. Miller to mark him. Evans trying to get it across, and
wasn't a bad play. Tried to hit it hard and low across the face of the goal, just sliced it a little, and it went into the side net.
Ivor Evans, who during the off-season was destined to play in Hamilton, but with the Steelers folding, ended up trying Montreal, couldn't come to a contract agreement there, and wound up back where, of course, he always wanted to play, and that is here in Vancouver. The Fiji Flash, Ivor Evans. Steve Miller now at midfield for Winnipeg. A through ball, well taken by Holness. Tries to spring Carter, but it runs too far, and Dolan is there for the 86ers.
I think you'll see this evening that Paul Dolan and Pat Onstad read the game, play like a sweeper in effect behind their defenders. Very quick to come off the line and play it with the feet.
Catliff, Paolucci, Carl, Valentine, Fennick. Valentine, far post. Headed away, Paolucci. Plays it through the middle for Holness. Nachita moving up. Corazine is on his right. He went left for Mike Dodd. Mitchell to Macy. Evans, Muirhead. Celebrini. MacDonald is right, and that's where they'll go. Evans, Macy, Valentine, Muirhead are all in the middle. They go back for MacDonald one more time. Holness up to challenge for Winnipeg. Celebrini now will come wide left for David Norman. Now
Good
up the
run.
field for Toto, who's wide open. Guido to Toto, to Toto. Oh, lovely sliding tackle by Paul Fennick to get in the way as it was wide open for Toto. Carter loses the ball in the challenge from Norman. Corazine can't get by Macy. Now it's Sarantopoulos. To midfield, Dodd, Corazine. Macy giving chase, and it'll run too far.
Well, another chance forced to Guido Di Toto, and the youngster could have used a shout here because he had no idea that Paul Fennick was coming in from behind. Thought he'd tons of time to knock it past Pat Onstad. Little shout from one of his colleagues up front, and the 86ers could well have been 2-0 up. But the disadvantage of playing three at the back was shown there, that they get caught a little bit if the Vancouver 86ers break on the edge of the box or down the wings, because the three backmen tend to concentrate on the middle of the field.
Valentine trying to get away from Paolucci and Kent. Now it's Mike Dodd. Holness and Corazine are up front, and they'll go wide left for Holness, and Dodd will follow. Corazine heads to the top of the box. Nachita is up as well. Corazine tried the little dummy, but Celebrini had followed him. Macy Holness intercepts. Here's Nochita. Has Paolucci. Paolucci and Norman. Paolucci trying to cut in and can't. And it'll run over the goal line and go as the first corner for the Winnipeg Fury. Rick Celebrini had 2 goals in 10 games. The former member of the Edmonton Brickmen, now in his 3rd CSL season.
The Winnipeg Fury have got lots of height up for this corner kick. Miller, Fennick, Carter, all at the far post.
Philip Wilson to the far post. And getting up nicely was Paul Fennick. Now it's Ivor Evans, the right side. Holness, Sarantopoulos is back. Look at Mitchell make the run. Mitchell is there. Oh, it just was bouncing around on the feet, on the shoe tops of Sarantopoulos, and he was able to take control.
Unusual for Dale Mitchell's first touch to let him down. He's very good at controlling the ball, but there, first touch just wasn't good enough.
Corazine.
Ooh, look out.
Tony Nochita hit one from there to open the scoring back in Winnipeg. Tom McManus, in his 2nd season with the Fury, took over midway through last year. Member of Canada's national team program, coached at McMaster University. Has done an awful lot with this side. Paolucci, near side. And it's finally blown by Rob Brown. David Norman, Catlett, and back. Macy makes a run. Valentine calling for it. Here's Ivor Evans trying to break through the middle. Here's Ivor Evans. Ivor Evans. Now he's surrounded and can't get it through. He waited too long.
6 red and black shots just converged on the Fiji Flash. They're good covering play by the Winnipeg Fury. And Ivor, I think, they put a little bit too much work on the ball. Was running nicely. Had he tried his luck from outside the box, he had an opening, but it didn't take long to close up.
Yeah, it was seemed as when he was coming to his left, that might have been the chance for Ivor Evans. The through ball by Fennick is cut off by Valentine. Toto can't get away, and this is Carter. Fennick has the Fury come back, trying to look for the tying goal midway through this first half. Ian Carter. Wilson for Dodd. Muirhead to mark him. Dodd, this is Corazine. Fury have it in the box. And now it'll go as a Fury corner. And that's the danger that Bob Lenarduzzi was talking about, that the Fury are so good at coming back. If they, push people like Celebrini and MacDonald up into play from their back 4, they get caught short. Philip Wilson, the 30-year-old out of England, played with Bolton Wanderers and York City, curves it. And no problem for Paul Dolan. Quickly down the left wing, and Holness is there. Fights off the challenge from Evans. Holness has Carter. Can't control, and it was Macy. Mitchell. Lovely give and go now by Vancouver as they work it through the midfield. Macy, but finally Ian Carter is there. To midfield, and Catliff, Macy, Valentine, Corazine over to Markham. Nochita to take control for Winnipeg at midfield, and this is Carlo Corazine. Paolucci and Holness are with him. Holness goes left, Paolucci goes right, and getting back Celebrini to force the Fury to regroup. Corazine near sideline. Celebrini marking him, and then the late tackle, and Carlo Corazine gets into it. It's the 13s.
Ivor, John!
He certainly knew that coming to Swangard, Bob Lenarduzzi, the home field was definitely advantage. 86ers has never lost here to the Winnipeg Fury in 14 lifetime games.
And you could hear him there shouting to John Catliffe, John, get the front three organized quicker. On a free kick, the front three were wandering upfield, not even looking at the ball. And the coach obviously not pleased with that.
Tell him to get back in the...
Mike Dodd at midfield. Carter for Winnipeg. Wilson. Fenech. Paolucci. And right on his heels, David Norman. Ivor Evans. And getting over was Philip Wilson. There he is, the 30-year-old, 1 goal in 16 games. Joined the Fury out of the Vauxhall League in England. Now they go wide right. Doug Muirhead with Dodd to mark him. Just can't keep it in play. A goal by Dale Mitchell, and Vancouver leads 1-0. It's the CSL Mita Cup final on TSN. Vancouver lead 1-0 in a must-win in 90 minutes of regulation for the 86ers to force a 30-minute minigame to decide this CSL championship for 1992. Wilson slides it through to Holness. Holness tried to go wide left for Mike Dodd, but couldn't. Just too many yellow shirts. Now it's Catliffe. Turning to regroup, David Norman. Steve McDonald. Literally watched McDonald grow up with this 86ers team. Doug Muirhead. Geez, it's just opening for him, Graham. Muirhead tried to slide it through and finally cleared away, but as the defenders kept backing off, he just kept taking the space.
Well, the defenders were quite content to let him run across the box. He never ever got behind the line of red and black shirts, and they'll let them play like that all night. But Bobby Lenarduzzi said in the pre-game show he thinks his team has to be patient. I think they showed patience there. They were pushing the ball around, trying to draw the Winnipeg Fury out a little bit, and Tom McManus' side just wouldn't be drawn out.
Talked about Steve McDonald. I mean, he's 21, Graham. We've been watching him since he was 16, a 3-time All-Star, member of Canada's under 23 team. Macy slides it through, now back. What time? Oh.
Worth a try. It's worth a try.
Dale Mitchell. Saw the headlines.
Well, his efforts have been from the sublime to the ridiculous. His first volley was absolutely beautiful. That shot left a lot to be desired, and Dale's the first to admit it. But it's well worth a try from there. It runs nicely for you. Very tempting. You have to have a go.
Onstad making sure his cleats are clean. Norman and Corazine. Interesting to see the 13s battle. Ivor Evans so neatly takes it, heels it to himself. Now Sarantopoulos. Look at this. Evans fights it off, but can't. Went too far. And Ivor Evans figuring that maybe too much shoulder there from Peter Sarantopoulos.
Great run by Ivor Evans, but just watch Peter Sarantopoulos make it awkward for him. Little bit of a nudge, little nudge again, and now Ivor has lost possession into the side net once again. He's just putting a little bit too much work on the ball. When the opportunity's there to knock it across, he takes an extra couple of strides and the opportunity's gone.
Philip Wilson tried to slide it through for Holness, but Norman read it well for Vancouver. Now Evans. Forward to Toto. Offside. Scott Macy breaking too quickly on that right wing for Vancouver. Here's another youngster who we've again watched grow up on this 86er side is Guido Titoto.
And
member of Canada's under-23 team as well.
Guido Titoto, one of 9 players on this 86er squad, have been in 4 previous finals. Merkel, Mobilio, MacDonald, McGinty, Catliffe, Valentine, Sound, Evans. That's what I call consistency, and that's been the strength of the 86ers. They stay with the same personnel.
Very much so. Only now, though, you start to see some age. I mean, you're seeing a 34-year-old Norman, 34 Mitchell, 30 Muirhead, 34 Valentine. Maybe.
Nice blend, though, youth and experience.
Yes, Carter. 1-0. Vancouver leading. Fennick slaps it off a Vancouver defender. Now it's Ivor Evans. Oh yeah, there it comes back. He did. He gave him a tug, Graham.
I don't know. A little unlucky there as Miller tried to get back, but Wilson was the one fighting with Ivor Evans, and as he tried to jump past him, just clicked his heels, and Ivor didn't like that decision at all.
The sold-out crowd didn't like it as well. Kevin Holness with 2 goals in the playoffs, 4 during the regular season, out of the University of Saskatchewan.
And Kevin Holness has the distinction, the doubtful distinction, of having scored the only own goal in the CSL this season.
Celebrini.
Good ball.
Lovely ball as he goes wide right. Muirhead plays it forward. This is Mitchell. Mitchell. Oh, Mitchell! Gee, you know, it looked so awkward, but it gave Onstad a bit of a start.
Well, the ball's running nicely for Dale Mitchell, but watch it just bobble as he tries to hit it. Hits it with his inside of his foot, and it just bobbles past the near post. But once again, when it's running like that, it's so tempting to hit it.
But it even seemed, Graham, to throw Onstad off, because I think he was probably expecting the more difficult shot.
I think Onstad was thinking that Dale was going to curve it into the far post, and instead it claffed it a bit into the near post.
Catliffe, Fennick to mark him, wins it, gets it by Catliffe, still in control. No! There was Mitchell again.
John Catliffe is so strong when he gets going. If there was any doubt about his fitness, I think he showed there that he can play. He's fit again, very strong. His left foot is just magic, and he can power through people.
Well, his side is
Get the knockdown,
down 1-0, but the Fury continue to come forward, and when they do that, of course, they start leaving themselves open at the back, and the 86ers have had a couple of opportunities to add to their lead, but still just 1 on the board. That by Dale Mitchell at 3 minutes. Holness wide right. Corazine, Paolucci trying to get through Celebrini. And the linesman Rob Brown pointing at the corner spot. Carl Valentine, member of the '86 World Cup team in Mexico, and still one of the best that Canada puts on the field. And of course, we'll see Valentine and Catliffe and the Canadian World Cup team as they begin qualifying for USA 94. And game 1 will come your way. We'll have it for you. It will come from Kingston, Jamaica. Jamaica against Canada. You'll see it here on TSN. We'll have all 6 qualifying games for you on TSN, including games from Toronto and 2 from here in Vancouver. El Salvador, Jamaica, and Bermuda in the group with Canada.
Well, referee Mike Seifert is blowing down everything right away. He's had very good control of this game, and he's been consistent right from the kickoff.
Paolucci for wholeness, and it'll just run and skip away from him. Norman to take the throw in. Catlett calling for it. Fennick is right there, and a little unlucky it ran away from Paul Fennick. Macy couldn't control. Muirhead to midfield. Steve Miller won the battle with Toto, and now it's Catlett charged with the foul as he went up and over Paolucci. Sarantopoulos to take the free kick for Winnipeg. Paolucci, Norman to mark him. Mike Dodd, nice move, Dodd. Oh, he couldn't get it across. Celebrini was there for Vancouver. Now it's Paolucci, Evans. Looking for a little help, and he won the corner as he played it off of Dale Mitchell. Again, it's the Englishman, Philip Wilson, to take this corner for Winnipeg. Dolan calling for it. Carter was there, but not much of a challenge for the Fury. And look at Dolan, as you say, playing like the sweeper, and plays it all the way downfield. And now it's just a game of catch between the keepers. 1-0 Vancouver. Dale Mitchell with the only goal at 3 minutes for Vancouver in a must-win. Onstad. 11 minutes remaining in this first half. Dodd on the left wing for Winnipeg. Dodd. Edge of the box for Corazine. Holness over to help. Flick through. Here's Corazine. If he can turn. Here's Carter. Couldn't get through. Celebrini's foot was just there. Now it's the Fury with now a late attack in this first half, trying to get the tying goal. They trail 1-0. Dodd and Ivor Evans. And Ian Carter will hustle over. It'll be the free kick from just inside that left wing. Carter to the box. Fennick goes up. And there's Dolan for Vancouver. Paul hasn't been really challenged yet, has he? They haven't thrown anything at him yet.
Hasn't really had to make a difficult save. He's picked a couple of balls out of the air that could have been awkward, but he's so big and tall. Piece of cake for Paul.
Machita. Doug Muirhead pinching up down the right wing. This is Ivor Evans. Sarantopoulos and Wilson over, and it'll be throw in for Vancouver. Muirhead. Valentine. Dodd again will give away the throw in. Valentine. And Valentine guilty of a little bit of a foul on Dodd. 1 goal in 16 games for the veteran, Carl Valentine. Dodd, left wing. This is Carter. To Toto to mark him. Slides it through. And MacDonald is guilty of the foul on Paolucci. Paolucci makes a run into the box. This is Nachita. The original Tony Nachita, the first player ever drafted by the Fury. Oh, the Fury may have been looking for a little handball as Evans seemed to bring it down. Little double step by another one by Ivor Evans as he tries to shake Sarantopoulos and now lays it back for Mitchell. Dale Mitchell. Oh, he had a look as Carter came over. Now he goes wide right. This is Muirhead. Muirhead tries and can't get it by Dodd. MacDonald. Onstad in front of a charging Guido Toto. Gee, if you watch Ivor Evans' feet, you would have been faked out twice there.
Pretty tough to fake out Peter Sarantopoulos.
Corazine. Nachita. It seemed to come out of nowhere. Still 1-0 Vancouver, the CSL on TSN. Spent last year in Hamilton and now back in Winnipeg. Dodd gives chase on the left wing for Winnipeg. At midfield for Nachita. Can't get by Macy. We're in the final few moments of this first half here at Swangard Stadium. Ivor Evans. This is Valentine to Toto, his left. He plays it in. Indeed, Toto. Holness. Celebrini. Holness. Sliding tackle. Gets it across. Corazine tried to take it off his heel. Couldn't control to midfield where Miller puts it into the air. Evans to Dale Mitchell. Even at the age of 34, Dale Mitchell won another All-Star award this year in the CSL.
And Dale Mitchell joins John Catliff as being the second overall leading playoff goal scorer. Mobilio, of course, with 12. Catliff and Mitchell with 11.
Mitchell curves it in, looking
Offside.
for Catliff. No, offside.
Just moved a little too early. And linesman René Parra on the far side put his flag up right away. Great run by Catliff, but he just left a little too early. Got to the ball first before Onstad, but the flag was already up. Great effort, nevertheless.
Paolucci trying to keep it in play and does on the right wing. Paolucci cuts it through. Carter!
Good
and
save.
Dolan is there. Boy, Paolucci made a lovely little run, cut to the middle, drew the defender, and then just flicked it over them to Carter.
And the 86ers defense guilty of ball watching. Beautiful run. Carter just can't quite get to the ball before Dolan comes off the line to smother it.
To Toto at the other end, now plays it to the far post for Evans. Dodd is there for the Fury. Mike Dodd, Sarantopoulos. Oh, he's played it back, he's played it back. Now.
Well, the only way that Pat Onstad can handle that ball is if Guido Titoro touched it as they challenge for it, because that pass back he cannot handle it under the new FIFA rule. But look out. Oh, look out.
Evans still loose. Catliff plays it back. David Norman, the 86ers, looking for one more before they go to the locker room here at the end of the first half. Valentine. Holness giving chase. And it'll be a late corner for the 86ers.
And this time it's Steve MacDonald and Celebrini's turn to come up. The big man waiting to get this high ball. And Guido Titoto taking them from both wings.
Titoto headed away. Valentine has a look. Sees Titoto calling wide right. Holness is over to Mark for the Fury. Now MacDonald makes a run. Oh! It just wouldn't bend enough for Titoto as MacDonald had moved right up. Onstad taking his time as if to say, I'll just try to take enough time to get us into the dressing room here. Vancouver leading 1-0. To midfield. Paolucci. Leave it for Philip Wilson. Nachita back. Mitchell up to force the play for Vancouver. Mitchell. Oh, Carter coming through. Right to Macy, though. Macy to the outside. Sarantopoulos. Well played by the CSL All-Star in '92, Peter Sarantopoulos. Dodd. And a throw in for Vancouver. Muirhead to Macy and back. Valentine, Catliff to Toto. Evans are in the middle. Catliff. And it'll be a throw in for Winnipeg. Carter. Upfield for Holness. Celebrini is on his back, charged with the foul. Carter puts it into play. Celebrini. And Mr. Seifert checks his watch as we're nearing the end of this first half here at Swangard Stadium. Vancouver leading 1-0 on the goal by Dale Mitchell. Carter has Nachita. Laid it back for Wilson, and it just didn't get there. Now it's Titoto as the Fury are forced to hustle back. Titoto has Evans on his left. Mitchell is trailing. Norman makes a run, and they'll go to Evans wide left. Norman. Evans now one-on-one with Wilson. Gets it across. Here's a chance. Mitchell can't get through. Here's a chance, and it's Norman to the far post and by. Unfamiliar territory for David Norman. The 34-year-old, again, a member of Canada's World Cup side in '86, David Norman. And there's the whistle from Mr. Seifert to end a very entertaining first half. 1-0 Vancouver, a goal by Mitchell at 3 minutes.
And on the balance of play, the Vancouver 86ers, good value for the 1-0 lead. Winnipeg Fury, now that they were the favorites, just looked a little bit tentative in that first half, but 1-0 against Vancouver at Swangard isn't bad.
They love their Fury. Well, they love their 86ers here in Vancouver. This sold-out crowd at Swangard Stadium giving every member of this four-time CSL champion side a standing ovation as they head to the locker room. Coming up at halftime, we'll have the MVP presentation for the Canadian Soccer League. We'll get you caught up in what's been happening. NFL Sunday, of course. We'll talk with Fury General Manager Laurie McIver about the future of the Canadian Soccer League. Some interesting happenings at meetings today here in Vancouver. And of course, Graham will have his halftime highlights. It is must win for Vancouver in regulation, and they lead 1-0 halftime. The CSL on TSN. Of course, a great soccer player in this country in his own right, and now works for Labatt's here in the Vancouver area. Dale Mitchell, will look forward to seeing him, Graham, of course, in Canada's World Cup qualifying. Game 1 will come to you at midnight Eastern Time, October the 18th, as we'll have it from Kingston, Jamaica, Canada against Jamaica. We have all the games for you, of course. Then they will go on to play El Salvador, and that may be their toughest of all the games against El Salvador. Then they come home to play Jamaica at Varsity Stadium on November the 1st. Then November the 8th here at Swangard, they'll play El Salvador. Then they'll play Bermuda here at Swangard, November the 15th, and then they'll go to Bermuda for December the 6th. As the teams are coming back onto the field, there you see the referee, Mr. Mike Seifert. We talked about the 4 teams involved in the World Cup qualifying. Top 2 will get through, and Bobby Lenarduzzi says quite frankly, if we cannot get by Jamaica and Bermuda, well then he hasn't done his job.
And I agree with him, and I think that Canada should get through. As I said in a previous telecast, if they don't get through against Jamaica and Bermuda, El Salvador obviously is going to be the toughest game. Then we have to look at the program, because it's obviously not going in the right direction if we can't beat out Jamaica and Bermuda.
The question mark going in, though, of course, is always, can Canada score enough goals? They will get it from Catliffe. Hopefully he's fit. He's obviously proving it now that he's back from his knee surgery, and the feeling is that Dominic Mobilio, who is recovering from a broken foot, will be ready as well. We're underway. Second half, Vancouver leading 1-0, and they must hold on to that lead, win in 90 minutes of regulation. Holness tried to slide it through for Corazine, and it didn't get there. Corazine, and Corazine picked for the foul on MacDonald.
And it goes without saying that both sides will be very anxious to get the next goal. If Vancouver get 2 up, they've virtually won this first game. If Winnipeg get the next goal, then it's still anybody's tie.
Neither side making any substitutions to start this second half. Muirhead. Ivor Evans gets around Phillip, tries to cut it through and can't. They have been the hot side in the Canadian Soccer League. They had a tremendous finish, as we say. A month ago they were in last place, but then 7-1-1. And look at this, the goals for. I mean, who would have ever thought the Winnipeg Fury would outscore the 86ers or be better defensively? But that's what Pat Onstad and Peter Sarantopoulos mean to the Fury at the back.
However, history is on the 86ers side, because the team that has won the regular season have always done the double.
Paolucci tried to get through and couldn't, and old Scott Macy went down as he took that shot and now tries to walk it off. Macy, the 19-year-old, in his 3rd season. He is the future. Players like him, the future of this 86ers side. To Toto, thinking he was still in the first half, going the wrong way. Well, hopefully the Canadian Soccer League will remain in existence. However, you can't blame teams like Vancouver trying to protect their interests, Graham, and looking ahead in the eventuality that not enough teams come back for 93.
Well, the fans here want to see soccer, and if they have to go to the States for it, then who can blame them going? But it was very positive remarks from Laurie at halftime when he said that the CSL are going to be here next year, and I for one hope it is.
Onstad, Carter. Here's Paolucci as the Fury, as they did in the first half, apply early pressure to begin this second. Paolucci Slides it back. Fennick. Headed away. Carter goes up. Here's a chance. Oh, and Dolan is right there. Corazine.
Corazine is so quick on the turn. Watch him turn, get to it first, but the challenge by Macy is enough to take the power off the shot, and it turns out to be an easy save for Paul Dolan. But you cannot give Carlo Corazine 1 inch. He is so quick off the mark.
There's Corazine. He curves it for the far side for Paolucci. He and Norman, and a little shove on by Paolucci. He plays in the 3rd division in Italy. Rookie of the year, and it's that little bit of experience, that daily training that he got in Italy. I mean, that's added so much to his ability. Carlo Corazine.
Corazine actually one of 4 players on this Fury side who at one time played for the 86ers. Earlier this season he played a couple of games for the 86ers, but argued that he would get more playing time with the Fury, and he's done very well.
The native of Coquitlam. Played for Pianviglia of the Italian 3rd division.
Easy for you to say. Oh, good ball, unlucky.
Through for Holness, just ran a little too far, and Celebrini cleared it into touch. Paolucci. Feels like an Italian division game with Paolucci and Celebrini.
Nocita.
Yeah.
Good.
Dolan. Over the head of Carter. Tom McManus saw his team get off to a good start in the first half as well, and they're again showing the attack that he wanted them, but they got caught. And that goal by Valentine really came out of nowhere. Once down the field, the first time down the field, and then Mitchell put it away at 3 minutes. We've played 5 minutes now of his second half, and it remains 1-0. Dodd goes wide right. Now, interesting, he awarded it. I thought he might play advantage there, but he blew it dead, Mr. Seifert. Nocita is in the box and headed over the bar by Carter, who had moved up.
We have a $50 gift certificate from Maryland for you if you're in section F, row 11, seat 14.
Well, we have Paul Dolan getting ready to take this goal kick. The people here at Swan Guard wanted to say a big hello to Cindy Titos. Everyone wishes her well in her freshman year at McGill, and she's sadly missed here at Swan Guard. Used to do a super job on the program.
So many of the people involved in all the CSL cities are volunteers and love the game, and Cindy one of those. Paolucci tried to hook it back again. Little challenge, little bump from behind, blown by Mr. Seifert. I don't know if I'm sensing it, though. It feels like Vancouver laying back just a little bit, Graham. And now, a little warning to David Norman from Mr. Seifert, and he goes into the book.
Well, he's given him a warning before. He blew the ball dead the last time when we thought he should have played advantage, simply to warn David Norman, who went diving in. And second time round, out came the yellow card. Oh, good play.
Mike Dodd, lovely. Dodd!
Oh! Great effort.
It opens up for him here. Look at this.
Watch this ball actually deflects off Corazine. Oh,